friends, how are you? Well, it was a long gap, but now I am here to tell you all information. In my last video about mangalyaan, I couldn't tell you properly because I was small. But don't worry, now I am here. So let's start our video. Let's zoom in. So today we are going to talk about mangalyaan. This is Earth's gravity. This is our moon. This is Earth. And this is Mars. And if you don't know about this point, I will tell you, don't worry. See, this is Sriharikota, from where it was launched on the date 5th November 2013. Mangalyaan mission was launched in PSLV rocket. So, did you understand all this much? Yes. Then let us see. The moon missions are very easy. Like the NASA used the trans maneuver technique, in which they launched and then they did a S shape like this, and then they reached moon, and in the orbit they did. And then in Apollo 11, as the first man on the moon, they landed and then they took off again. I am taking random points. I don't have marked any specific points, but I am taking random points. So they landed here, not exactly here, and they started around in the orbit again. And then after orbit, they did and reverse thing. Like an 8. 8 is how? Like this. Just turn it this side, flip it. Okay, so this was the way from now to go to moon. But for Mars, you have to use a different way. Okay, I will tell you first. Let me draw. This is our moon and this is our Earth. So this is Sriharikota, and from here the PSLV rocket is launched. So here it will I told you about the stages in which the rocket was launched. Like the first stage, in which that big part is lost, then the middle stage, and then the last stage, and then the fair load is separated. That way the PSLV rocket did. Now as they launched the PSLV rocket, there was a specific point, because PSLV rocket was a small boy. Like that was a name, he was a short. It did not have that much capacity to travel to longer distance like Mars. It could just bear to go to moon or in the Earth's orbit. So there was a specific point called a perigee, in which the thrusters were fired and it gave a little push. So like this is the first round of this is the orbit, and when the mangalyaan reached at the perigee, its thrusters were fired, so it would give a little push like this. This was done 6 times. I don't have that much space, so I am doing till 5, but this type of things were done 6 times. So at the last point of the perigee, the spacecraft was a tremendous speed, because its thrusters were fired and fired and fired. It was just like to save fuel, to save gas. It is like when we fry a puri, when the oil is hot, we shut off the gas and save gas. It is just like that. To save fuel, they did not fire for continuously because PSLV did not have that much capacity, and the satellite was also need to be made small and in kind of that way that it should have all the means parts in it, like camera, transmitters and that like thing. So at the last point when the thruster was fired, the spacecraft was at full speed and it immediately get out of Earth's gravity and then in the space. Now here how was it? Let me tell you. Now, do you know any sail or any boat? How does it work? Like, I don't have that much drawings, so please try to understand. Suppose this is a sailboat. So how does it work? Work of wind. When the wind comes, the aircraft goes forward. Same logic was used here. Now, Mangalyaan was designed in a way that it should travel from the solar, like it was kind of a, I don't know exactly what was it, but it was a kind of that push to throw this aircraft. So here, sun, this is the sun and this is Mangalyaan. This was its antenna and these were its solar panels. So you can understand that this is a shape like in spacecraft, sail like a boat. So when solar energy came, it had a forward pull and it also went forward like this. So we can save extra fuel, and with this the speed of the spacecraft also increased, because due to some rainstorm there was 9 days buffer for ISRO, Indian Space Organization, to take a backup to reach Mars. But there was a short time in which they could launch. But thank God for that the rain went away and they were ready for launch. When they launched it, their thing happened that one time their signal get lost. Then they had to restart. But when they restart and got to know that spacecraft was as tremendous speed, because we can get to Mars one day earlier. It was like that. So soon the spacecraft was coming from its orbit and it was slightly out of its track, but through its right thrusters it was back on the track. I am not drawing that proper satellite, just a kind of for you to understand. So this is suppose the Mangalyaan, and from here it was on the orbit, and because on that day it was saying that Earth and Mars were at, both were the closest. That was the day when they both were the closest. This day comes once in 3 years. Now suppose what a big opportunity it was for ISRO. So this was Mangalyaan and this was Mars. But now there was a information that the spacecraft was at tremendous speed, and the spacecraft need to be tilted in opposite side, and thrusters were fired, like a car without brakes, but you need to first turn the car upside down and then push the accelerator to do like that. That kind of thing was done because in space there's no air and road, so we cannot do brakes mechanism. So that way the thrusters were fired and the spacecraft was at lower down at speed. So here in the Mars there were two. If the Mars captured it in the right way, then it would be in the orbit like this. But there was a signal that there should be 24 minutes in the spacecraft will be in 24 minutes eclipse mode, and if the spacecraft would not come out within 24 minutes, then there's 100% confirmed that spacecraft has passed Mars. Like, this is gravity of Mars. If the suppose this is the spacecraft, this line is the spacecraft that tracked, and if within 24 minutes it has come out of its eclipse mode, then there's no worries. Then there's cheers that the spacecraft is in the orbit. But if it does not come out, then it is proved that the spacecraft has passed Mars, and it is now gone into distant space. So, but good luck for ISRO that the Mars was powerful, that the speed was slowed down, that the Mars gravity could catch it, and they got it, and the mission was successful. Now came about now, yes, I am happy about that, but the main thing is, will the camera work? And that's an answer yes. This is Mars, and this is the orbit of Mangalyaan. Now this is Mangalyaan. This is Mangalyaan, and now the main thing is that the camera should work, that was fit inside it. It means if the spacecraft launch is not like that you launch in the orbit another planet and into the orbit. We need to get information, and same did as Mangalyaan. It sent all kind of pictures, and it sent information like, is there life on Mars, or we could live, or it could support life on Mars, is there water or not, and that kind of, and lots of pictures of Mars. Now there are 1,000+ pictures of Mars, and this was the story of Mangalyaan. And the date on which this mission was successful was 24 September 2014. Now it's trivia time. Well, it was launched in 2013 and it was completed in 2014, and now it's 2024. But the thing is, Mangalyaan has not stopped. It is still sending pictures and sending informations. So this was for about today's videos, and please do not forget to like and subscribe. And now I promise you I will put up a video or give you a nice masaledar information to you weekly, and and soon we will get to our daily basis. And now I will not do this much big gap, but please like and subscribe to your favorite guy, Junior Space Scientist Jaiditya. And that's what for today.